Hello, we were at GDC Online 2011. We're here with BigWorld's guy.
Okay, hi, I'm Adam Maxwell. I'm the lead technical artist at BigWorld. We're showing off some of our new client improvements that we've been doing.
Yeah, so I was here last year and I spoke with Gavin and he showed me the demonstration. What have you guys improved in about a year with your service?
Okay, so one of the things we've been working on, one of the main things, is improving the client renderer. We've moved to a deferred lighting pipeline, and that allows us to do a number of things. It means that everything in the scene is consistently lit. It also allows us to add a huge number of dynamic lights into the scene, and I can show you a little bit about that. So what we do with the deferred pipeline is we actually, rather than light everything in a forward pipeline, we draw out into a bunch of buffers the normals, the diffuse, the specular, and also the depth. And then we use that to draw the whole scene. It's a much more efficient way of drawing the scene. Another thing that we've done is we've incorporated parallel split shadows, and that means that everything in the scene is lit by the sun and will shadow dynamically as the time of day changes.
I've heard there's a shadow for every leaf on one of these trees. Is that true?
For every object in the scene, it will cast a shadow. So you can see the nighttime and the daytime coming in here. Another thing that we've done is implement high dynamic range lighting. So what I'll do is I'll just change it to nighttime, and you can see that it's really dark, okay? And these lights are on. Now these lights are still on during the day, but if we change to the middle of the day, it's just going to flashbang you a bit, because that's what would happen. You know, if you're at nighttime, you just suddenly put in a day environment, your eyes would be burning, and eventually your eyes accumulate, become accustomed to the light, and you can basically see that everything looks a bit more normal again. The reason for doing the HDR lighting is it allows us to have that higher dynamic range, and I'll show you one place in particular where it's quite obvious. If I go into this indoor environment here and turn around and look outside, you can see that it's really bright.
Yeah, that looks, this is amazing. This is a big improvement over what I saw last year. Not to say that what I saw last year was bad, but this is really great. This looks like any of the AAAs coming out, honestly.
That's right, and when you run outside, your eyes become accustomed to that lighting again. And if we look back in there, you can see it's really dark. So another thing that we've done is add shadows from lights. So you can see there's a shadow on this wall here as I run past these candles.
Yeah, all these little minor details you guys have focused on, it looks amazing, it really does.
And I'll just teleport back here. And one of the other things we've been adding is what's called screen space ambient occlusion. Now, we're in the early days of adding that, so it's a little bit grainy. And I'll just toggle it on and off so that you can see it. It's a very subtle effect, so it's hard to point out, but this is with it on, and if I turn it off, if you note here in all the corners, everywhere where there's kind of like hidden little corners and nooks and crannies, if I turn on the screen space ambient occlusion, it will darken all those areas, and it makes things sit in the scene a little bit better. It occludes the ambient lighting from that area.
So I've heard there's a few things with the server side that a lot of your clients currently aren't using, but are pretty cool. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
I could. I'm probably not the best person to talk about it. However, I can say that we have a dynamic load balancing server. It's used in World of Tanks. We've probably got around about 1 million users connecting to BigWorld servers at any one time. We've done tests with IBM where we have over 100,000 avatars running around in a single space on a BigWorld server, and it scales linearly. You just keep adding new machines to the server so that it can distribute that load across each of the servers.
So the server is absolutely very stable.
It's very, very stable, and I can tell you now that there's some games out with our customers who have got over 100,000 real users running on a single server using our technology.
So how, we have a lot of our viewers who are game design students, and they might be interested in your indie offerings. Is this also eventually going to be part of the indie offerings?
Right, so we do have an indie offering at the moment. It's a couple of versions behind. It's something that we love to do, but as with anything, it's all about who's paying and what resources we've got to do it. So our indie version at the moment is running 1.9, so it won't have all this lighting in it. We do plan eventually to get all this stuff into the indie version. Yeah, so the indie version's around about $300 for a 25-seat license, and I think I think that's a pretty good deal for it.
But you guys do have a very flexible licensing structure where if they are very successful as indie license, they can upgrade and get the full.
That's right.
The full indie.
That's right. Yeah. So an indie developer has quite a lot of options as far as changing their license. They can stay with the indie license, ship their product, and they end up with a high back end. The alternative is they can convert that to a commercial license if they think that their product is going to be extremely successful.
Thank you so much for speaking to us, Adam. We are again at GDC Online 2011 at BigWorld's booth. They're an MMORPG engine maker.